Then I go around the country, I said, before you go to China, you got to stop by Idaho.
Well, Hamdi, maybe that's a good place to bring in the governor here. Governor, obviously you had an entrepreneur that knew that all the ingredients existed, but the ingredients alone aren't really enough to get it done. So what was the secret to what made this all come together so quickly from your perspective?
Well, Matt, first off, I came out of 30 years in business with a large agribusiness, family-held company in Idaho, and we were a major supplier for McDonald's. Not just in the United States, but all over the world. In fact, the last 12 years, I was the president of Simplot International, and I went to 82 different countries looking for situs, not only for an operation, but also for distribution. So I kind of had an idea of what we needed for business. I needed stability, and I needed predictability, because I was going to have to go borrow the money, as I'm sure Hamdi did, at least part of that $450 million he invested in 326 days in Idaho. And I had to be able to convince my resources that I knew what I was doing. So I needed stability and I needed predictability. But I also recognized that even in all foreign countries, in all countries, and especially in the United States, that if you don't have a good personal relationship where you're building the plant, in the communities that you're building the plant, you probably won't enjoy as good a business relationship as you might otherwise. And so we made a real effort, number one, to establish trust. If we tell you we're going to do something, if we tell you we're going to stay 2 weeks ahead of you on your construction schedule, and 2 weeks before you need the permit, it's going to show up, and we're not going to trust it to the U.S. mail to bring it. We're going to bring it ourselves and deliver it to you, and that's exactly what we did. And the second thing is that we wanted to know that they were committed to excellence, as was the state of Idaho. So the first thing, we established trust. Then we said excellence. Excellence in exactly what we can do. And being excellent at what you do is doing the best that you can do. And so I really think that that was the example that we used. And then finally, of course, is do you care about us? Do you care about Twin Falls, Idaho, simply because it's got a good workforce, simply because we got cheap electricity, and there's a big unit of electricity that goes into any kind of manufacturing and processing. And by the way, it's much cheaper than it is in Mississippi. Just in case you needed to know that. And not only that, it's green. 60% of our energy comes from falling water. We have dams. Anyway, getting back to my story, getting back to my sales pitch.
This is not going to be easy to moderate, I can see already.
The other thing that we wanted to know is really that they cared about the communities, that the families, the 1,000 people's lives that were going to be changed and renewed in Twin Falls, Idaho, and in the Magic Valley, we call it, in Idaho, was truly going to be magical. And that they not cared about us, but we also cared about them. And we wanted them to be part of the Idaho family. We wanted them to be part of the Magic Valley family in Idaho. And I would tell you, they didn't disappoint, and neither did we. One of the other things that we did, which was kind of a beginning for us, because quite frankly, we hadn't made Greek yogurt in Idaho ever. And when Hamdi brought us this project, we said, we took a look at our assets, and we said, do we have the workforce that can do this? Because it's different equipment than it is to cut French fries. It's different equipment than it is to even produce milk, and we're the third largest milk producer in the nation. So we put a team together, our labor department, our commerce department, our education department from the College of Southern Idaho, and our HR department. And we went back to their site in New York. And we said, which of these jobs in New York are you going to want to duplicate in Idaho? And then we put together a protocol of each one of those jobs. And when we got home, the College of Southern Idaho president, Jerry Beck, who just did a tremendous job, created immediate curriculum. And so whether it was stainless steel welders or whether it was software, whatever it was, they put it together so that when Hamdi fired up his plant in 326 days, those people were ready to go to work. They were well trained. They knew what was expected of them, and that we had established trust, a commitment to excellence for each other, and the fact that we appreciated and we cared about each other.
Well, Governor, maybe that's a good place to bring in Governor Tomlin. So obviously it's competitive. There's 50 states who are all trying to do the same thing. Governor, what kinds of things are you doing in your